My name is Carmen Dillon, and I've been at Fellowship for almost 4 years now. And I'm a part of the art committee, and I really enjoy participating in all the art shows and getting to look at other people's giftings that God has given them and how they express themselves through all different kinds of art. This piece is titled Look Beyond because that's what the story is, that's what it means to me. I did this during quarantine, which wasn't necessarily an easy time because I usually paint when I have a lot of joy and when I'm relaxed. Some people that's the best time when they're sad or when they're stressed or when they're struggling, they get it out through art. I'm not like that, I'm the opposite. Like when I'm in a good place is when I can create. Sometimes in our Christian walk, we are in green fields and God meets us there and it's just beautiful and it's peaceful. And other times we're in dark, dirty alleys, right? And that's how sometimes the world can feel right now for a lot of us. It's unsure and it's dirty and it's heavy, but God calls us to intentionally seek Him. And He says if we seek Him with our whole hearts, we will find Him. And sometimes we have to be reminded as Christians to look beyond our current situation and to intentionally seek Him. Because if we're just sitting in today and we're just letting the world come at us, it can be hard to find Him. And so for me, I see Him in the sky. Like I literally experience God by looking through the sky. Other people, the Bible says, lift your head up and look to the skies. And that can be like metaphorical for some people where, they just need to go out in nature or they need to dive into the Word. Or like I know my husband, he finds God in like screaming rock and roll lyrics. I'm just like, what? But he will be like moved emotionally by a lyric. And that's like, I don't find God there. That's not where I do. But I literally find God in the sky. I look to the sky. I have story after story of a storm speaking to me and knowing that God was talking to me through that storm or through a rainbow or through sunbeams or pink clouds or whatever. So I wanted to have a big sky and I wanted it to be somewhat blocked. And your position is definitely down here on the earth. This is where, we're standing, but I wanted to have the majority of the painting be the sky because it actually is huge and beautiful and wonderful and powerful. You just have to look past to be able to see it. A part of this is kind of a self-portrait of me too. I'm a city girl through and through, South Side all the way, what, like that's me. And turquoise and blues and greens, that's my comfort color. And so colors mean a lot to me. So I just find joy mixing the colors and, getting just the right tone and then, changing it up. So I really started with just slapping color up there and dripping it and rubbing with my hands and wiping it off. And between the city girl and looking to the sky, this is me. My son Levi is on the autism spectrum, and so he's very concrete, so he has to touch it and see it and feel it to know it and to believe it, And I remember one morning we were leaving for school, and the sky was beautiful that day. That morning it was sunrise, and it was like the deepest of turquoise with slices of coral and hot pink and plum on the sides. And I don't know why, because usually I'm like, hey guys, oh look at the sky, it's so pretty. But this day I decided to say guys, look at the sky. God painted the sky for us this morning. And Levi stopped and he looked at the sky, but it was different than he ever had before. And he was frozen. He was in awe of the sky. And he just said, God painted the sky? God painted that sky, Mom? And I was like, yeah. He's like, God painted the orange and the pink? And I was like, yeah. And I could see that he got it. He saw God. That was the first time that he was oh, I can see God. This thing that they've been talking to me about forever that I don't really get. He was I see it. And he was so excited and he was so in awe. And he talked about the whole time, the whole drive to school, God painted the sky. And then of course it's the sky, so it keeps changing a little bit. And he's oh look, God painted yellow now. And God painted, pink now. I think the most beautiful thing is that God created Levi that way,
and then chose to like speak his language. Like it was this like, I got to experience the moment where like I could see my son. Like it was almost like God like pulled back the curtains and revealed himself to Levi that day. And like, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I just, again, God shows himself, he speaks to me through the sky, but he did it to my son that day, and I was so thankful. And I think about that a lot. I think about that when I'm struggling to talk to him about God and to have him really understand. That moment was God showed himself and spoke Levi's language, which was hard for anybody to do at that point. And God really did it, and I was just like, oh, thank you. If looking at this painting could have people desire to seek God in a way that speaks to them, or seek God through the sky, and look for him, and wouldn't it be even that much cooler if they looked for him and they, experienced something cool from God by doing that? I would be super excited about it if that actually happened.